Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. Guys, today I'm here to talk about random stuff, focusing a bit on customer service, etc. Guys, my background is catering and customer service. You can't get any better than, you can get better training. I was going to say you can't get any better in terms of like my background and growing up and in the different environment I've been in. But I'm sure there's loads of people out there with way more experience and stuff like that. So, but my background is, first of all, my customer service started from very early because I've been looking after my niece, nephews, cousins, etc. from very young. So my customer service started very early age. But anyway, at the time I didn't know it was customer service. I just know that I was helping out my family. Anyway, then even in the sense when I used to go to school when I was young, I used to put on my own fashion show, stuff like that, where you have to cater for the audience and put on a show. So that's some form of customer service there going on, very young age as well. You know, I'm kind of like to entertain. I like to give whoever a bit of a laugh at my own expense, and yeah, not all the time though, people, don't get it twisted. But like if I know I'm entertaining, and you know, it's a whole different thing from when somebody else is taking the mickey. But yeah, if you get my drift. Okay, so moving on to coming in Britain when very young age, 15, 16 I'd say. And then having to find college. By that time I think I was too old for school. Yes, 15, 16 was too old for school. But I went somewhere like, you know, I have to kind of, not restart, but I was able to catch up because I wasn't really at college level. I missed out some school as well because my mum came to England. But yeah, that's for another day. But the school I was sent to was not mainstream school, but it was majority. I think I was the only black person there basically. So it's not today I'm the only black person in the room, okay, from those age. So hence why, because sometimes you don't know why you're a certain type of way. But imagine coming from Africa or the Caribbean. And, you know, I know there's a lot of people out there that had experience of that, but I'm talking about my experience and be thrown into an environment like that. You have to know how to cope from very early on. So, yeah, my teacher took a shine to me, a liking to me, because I was very kind of like a bit domesticated. If they always like have a kitchen and stuff like that. So if there's tea and stuff like that to be made, I'll make it. And if there's cooking to do, I'll start something quick and fast. And, you know, they spot that from very early on. So they kind of like lead me on the path to like of a catering, you know, which I love because I used to cook in the kitchen. I can't quite remember if I was catering, helping out for lunch. I was helping out for, I want to say, maybe for lunch in school, you know. And so I was doing that for, like, in the catering. I was good at stuff like hairdressing, beauty, stuff like that. I was good at that as well. So it was, I would say it was those two main things I was really good at from those time when I was 15, 16. Anyway, one of my teachers kind of like helped me towards getting into a catering school, a college. At this point, I thought I was going to end up at, not the mainstream college, but you know colleges, they always have the mainstream and then they have a branch of the college. It's the same college in, what would you say, affiliation, you know, they joined, but then you have the main building and then you have the branches off. And I want to say there was like another branch. So there was a main building and then maybe one or two other branches. I'm just sure about the one branch that I was meant to go to. Yeah. All of this I'm talking about is in London at this present time. Yeah, so that's the branch. I was going to go to the other branch, not the main branch. The main branch was in Westminster, and I think I might do other videos that mention that school that I've been to. That school, to get into that school, you have to have like lots of GCSEs, you know. So, you know, it's like the teacher kind of squeezed me into the branch to do the catering because she knows I was really good at it. So, but the main school was when I kind of like went and done enrollment. I don't know what had happened in the midst of the enrollment, but me thinking I was going to go to the other branch, I ended up in the main branch, you know, mixing with the children that have their 9 GCSEs. You know, obviously everywhere you go, you're going to have some really bright and academically brilliant, and then you're going to have some that's not so strong, but still they'd have to have some form of ground result to get into that college. I ended up at the mainstream doing hotel and catering management. You know, I struggled, but I struggled on the theory aspect of things. I didn't struggle in the kitchen. That was like a natural place for me to be. So I excelled in that area, but I really struggled with like maths, English, and then English not being my first language. Then I had to be taking on Spanish, and yeah, you know, you had a choice. Spanish or French was one of those, the two you had to choose from in those days. So I chose Spanish, and to be fair, people, it wouldn't really have mattered which one I chose because I'd have been the same at them. But for some reason, I chose Spanish because back in the days, people in my country, in Jamaica, would more want to stay towards the Spanish side. You always hear more Spanish than French back in them days. So, that's what I chose. The only thing I can remember out of that thing, how many years? I remember when I went in the Spanish lesson, don't ask me what I was saying, people, because the teacher was looking at me like I had 4 heads, because the only thing I know in Spanish was a soup, gazpacho. Yeah, until this day. And it's because it was to do with catering. Okay? And when it come down to the fact that, like, for example, in the college, they had their own big restaurant where whatever we cooked got served out there, and you had to do both sides. You have to do the kitchen and you had to do the restaurant service and all of these things. So I've been coming with customer service from the ground up, okay? So people might look at me, this is where people judge people and they don't know nothing about me, and because I'm not one to go around talking about this, that and other and acting. Anyway, you get my drift. But I know about customer service and I mix with all sort of people. So I'm not the type of one to go in the room. I'm not saying sometimes I don't get shy because of, you know, your circumstances change and then you have to kind of refresh yourself or regroup and but I mix with all sort of people. Okay? Anywho. Right, so we're talking about customer service. In those areas, the kitchen and in the restaurant, I had a friend. She was my best friend when I was going to college. Oh my days. And she was academically brilliant. Academically brilliant. You know, she's one of them with the 9 GCSEs, and when I'm telling you, top results. Top results. Okay, so I used to kind of help her because she didn't know where to balance in the kitchen. I used to help her out there, and she used to help me out a bit academically the best she could, because bless her, you know, just as shaky as she was in the kitchen, I was even shakier in the academic world. But anyway, I managed to pass my first year, and you know, that was an accomplishment in itself. I was quite proud at the time, but, you know, I didn't even know how proud I should have been, because I accomplished, there was other children there that didn't make it to the second year. So as bad I was beating up myself, I wasn't the less smarter one there, which is hard for me to believe. But anyhow, going back into the customer service department. So I'd excel. I'd, you know, put me in the restaurant, I'm flying. I know how to deal with all the customers. And I'm not talking about, you know, the customers wasn't diverse. Because it's not, it's not a mixed thing. You'd find majority, if not everyone, you know, as much as I can't remember a bad experience, but you find majority is white. So you can imagine, because it's in the heart of Victoria, Westminster, at those times it was not so diverse, but diverse enough, but not to be in a college restaurant kind of thing. I don't know how to explain it. Picture it, guys. Some people out there will get it, but you know, I'm just saying, even to this day, I don't see majority black parents have time to be going to sit down and have a meal in a restaurant in the middle of London at the minute, because they might be struggling and have to go do their cleaning job or go do a proper 9 to 5, whether it be in hospital or whatever job they have, because they have to provide for their kids. So there's a lot to touch on. Comment down below if you want to touch on anything, but you get my drift. It wasn't that sort of, you find more people that's well off that have time for that kind of sitting down, dining, whatever situation. Moving on, I've had loads of jobs. I never really take work seriously, and I never, you know, wasn't taught about money and the seriousness towards it and saving. I used to just work, and I used to do a lot of waitressing jobs, like moving on from college a bit, or even during college, so to speak, because I was so good at it. I used to work in loads of events, and agencies and stuff like that, just easy for me, and making money. And I used to buy whatever I want, or give my mom a lot of money and stuff like that. So, you know, it wasn't teach about saving, or the fact that you know, I used to give my sisters or sibling. I'm just very carefree. You know, I touch on those things, and I still, you know, even today I sit down sometimes and think about it. Even to now, the penny is dropping, but it's not landed in those areas. But anyhow, I'm learning, guys. I'm learning. So moving on, doing catering, like I said, chef jobs. I didn't get like to a high level. I'd say the level of catering I've got to was I don't know if I'm just going to be saying this wrong. Right. Like a sous chef or something, that a starter chef, if that's a sous chef, because you know, so many years has gone, can't remember. But that's the highest level I've ever gotten to. I could have gotten way further, but like I said, I never really did take anything serious. You know, the job was like working in a big restaurant in Bond Street, stuff like that. And I kind of didn't take it seriously, blah blah blah, so I didn't elevate in that. So as you can see, the customer service is going through those tones. Then again, one of my other jobs that I really enjoyed was working on the Gatwick Express, another customer service job. I never thought I'd get that job. Those days I was still young, but I had my first child by then, and you know, sometimes when you jump jobs, and I was, you know, very good in interviews, very good. You know, as long as he didn't want me to do anything mathematical, but I was always good with words. So they always would take me. I never find like I go in interviews, probably when I get a bit older, I might not pass an interview. But when I was younger, from they see me, that's it, that's it, that's it, done, boom, I'm there working. And I never try to overdo what my mind tell me that I can do. But this Gatwick Express job, I did think I'm punching a bit all above my belt, but I went for it. And you know, it was revenue officer on the trains, good money. And my dad, my stepdad, that's what he did. He worked on the trains for years, not literally on the train, but with British Rail. And so I went for the Gatwick Express job. And, you know, the managers were really nice. I remember I went all the way to Gatwick for the interview in like a restaurant setting type of area with a lot of managers. You know, when they recruit big, you know, a lot of people, and you're there. And I always look the part, you know, from growing up, you have experience. If I don't look the part, it's maybe because at the time I'm not doing well in my frame of mind, or the money's not there. But I always look the part, or I don't want to make the effort. One of the three, but you get my drift. So put my best foot forward there, and I went. And I didn't even, I don't remember if I knew I had to be doing some form of test. But then I'm sure, I just thought, you know what, Rose, just go for it. Just do your best. And I told you guys, I'm alright with money maths. And I can't tell you that I wouldn't say it's the maths test that I done my best. And, you know, I'm not the brilliantest at money maths either, guys. Don't get me wrong. But anyhow, I think it's more my personality and how I was looking and all of these things, you know, that got me that job. I wouldn't say, you know, got the job. And basically when I left the interview, in my mind, you know, you have that feeling, oh my days. And around my birthday time, July, good things always happen to me. I've always noticed, I always make a point of noticing that. But anyway, it was around that time, I can remember, summertime, and I'm thinking, I hope I get the job. I kind of feel like I'm going to get the job kind of thing. And in the end, I got the job. And I remember to the point where I was at that job, to the point where I was going back to help. You know, there was one time when they're saying, you know, they were doing a big recruitment again, and they're thinking who on the staff that they choose to go ahead with them to do the recruitment, and the supervisor of the revenue staff chose me. Personality galore, guys, personality galore. And, you know, I have kind of put someone in their place, because I'm kind of like a background where customer is always right, but if the customer push it to another level, I have to kind of like assert myself to say, you're not going to wipe my head with a mat, not because I'm here with a job. Be fair. Like there was one example, quickly tell you, where, you know, there was a delay because some alert, I can't remember, I think it might have been in the time when there's like a bomb scare, and then all the trains had to be on standstill for a long period. And so, you know, when it start going back out, the train's gonna have a lot of people. And, you know, if you don't want to be packing up going to Gatwick, wait until the crowd has calmed down. Well, I was going out on one of the first set of trains. You know, I'm running the train, I'm on the, like, apart from the driver, it's me. So I'm in the train, going through, making sure everything's okay, looking for suspicious things, doing tickets, that's a job, revenue officer, handling money, anybody have anything to say. And oh, and there was a third person that does the trolley, and it's not every train has a trolley. And that train at that time, I don't think, no, I can actually say that didn't have a trolley, based on the fact that there's very little movements, because the train was a filled train, so I don't think it had a trolley. So it was only me. A little bit nervous, but boy, I'm doing my thing, going, going, feel a little bit anxious, like it's only me there, blah, 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 blah. But I got used to it after a while. And then there was a guy there that was having a go at me. He's like, really? The train is full, blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking, hold on a minute. You know the situation. This is not a normal occurrence. So why would you be complaining? And the way he was going about, so I had to assert myself and like talk to him, very respectful, very nice, but kind of giving the impression like back off, because don't be thinking you can do anything with me and you're going to be getting away with it, because, you know, you can use your own initiative, that this is a situation that if you do not want to be on a packed train, wait. But hello, you know, it's quite clear. So I remember probably one of the only time I kind of had to be a little bit more like, hello, don't think you're going to be wiping the floor with me, because you see the situation. So just chill, take a calm breath and take it easy, and pray we get to Gatwick safely, sir, kind of thing. So yeah, anyway, and from that kind of job, then I had children, more children, and I had to go into like a care situation. I tried care when I was younger and it wasn't for me. I couldn't handle it. And then the environment that I started on wasn't good. But then as I had children, I tried it again and I was able to overcome the barrier that I was feeling, that I couldn't do it, blah, 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 blah. And it was a bit of the job and the fear. I don't know, there was an element of fear in there somewhere, I remember as a young person. But I overcome it and done a spectacular job as I became older, like few years back, you know, which I mentioned and talk about, which I was quite proud of, because I feel like, oh, I've conquered my fears. I went into this job and I even had a situation where, you know, I thought I could never do, and I managed to, you know, be of good support to my fellow staff, you know, the senior staff. I had to really, and you know, even to the point where people come in and they say, oh, why don't you go back to school and be a nurse and stuff like that. I don't know, my head's with all the, you know, I've started midwifery, didn't finish it. I've started like so many courses and hasn't really completed it because of, I don't know, I cannot get to the bottom of what that's about. I've completed the teaching assistant one, which was, and that was jam-packed and in very short time. But I don't know, I don't think, maybe small training. It depends on the environment and the style of teaching, I find. But anyhow, yeah, so fast forward to now, I've done a lot of jobs in customer service, even going backwards when I was younger. I've been working KFC. I remember those days they didn't have like a barrier between you and the customer. It was just it was just, in those days they were just like the shelving. You know, it's only recently they're putting up that barrier because of the way staff can be, I reckon, and the way customer can be as well, obviously, because customer can get very distraught in terms of service and feeling like, you know, and sometimes you don't know what frame of mind a person is. That's another thing. When I was doing the teaching assistant course, they touch on a lot about customer service and, you know, whether it be in you're working in a job place and interacting with other people the way you should be, because, you know, a person will look normal on the outside. You don't know what's going on in their mind. You don't know what day they've had. You know, there's all sorts of things why I feel the staff that's getting paid should be even more tolerant, you know, and there's a lot of training that should be put in place. So, you know, my experience I had in the post office, I touch on it a little bit. My post, by the way, was successful, just to show you, which I knew. But anyway, that was successful. I got my money back. I also thought about going to make an official complaint, which I've kind of like, you know, I feel like it's going to bring up trauma, so I'm probably going to leave that. I'm still a little bit indecisive because I'm not sure where my heart is pulling me to. But yeah, not sure whether I should leave it, or, because like I said, it's not my first experience and it's probably not going to be my last, but I'll see how I'm going to move forward in the way I deal with these type of things that's been happening. Most of the time how I dealt with it was sharing, and I'm not sure if I'm going to be dealing with it in a way moving forward to really highlight and letting those person know that I've complained, and so that will help them to change their behaviors, because if they think they can get away with it, they're not going to change. So I'm battling with that. But anyhow, that's that. Moving on. Yeah, so back to KFC. So in those days there was no barrier between you and the customer, and I remember I never have an incident where somebody want to come for me. Never. And I've had time working there after a while and see people want to go for people, and I'm thinking, why? And it's because of the communication and the way, you know, you have to be at your best at work. And I'm not saying, oh Rose, I'm perfect, da da da. But you have to be at your best at work. And I think it's the training that you get throughout and whether you take it on board or not, that would separate you from being in some serious situation. Especially, you know, now they've got the casing thing, or the barrier between you and that customer, where, you know, in my time of working, when I was doing all of my customer service work, there's no barrier between me and the person. So you have to know how you're dealing with yourself and how you're dealing with the person. And I think even before I was taught in my teaching course about how a person could feel, I think mentally I already knew that from previous training and just being a people person. You know, you just don't know what a person could be going through. I still kind of have that barrier where sometimes, because I'm so domesticated, I shy away from even writing and stuff like that, you know. So any little help, like, you know, if it's easy for a person and they're going to do it, I tend to probably hope that they will help me out in that area, and so on, so on. I've done it in relationship before. I'm more the domestic side, and well, it come at a cost as well, people. I'm not going to lie, but, you know, that's another story, another day. But the point is, I kind of feel like where your strong suit is, you shine there more. That's the point, you know? And if you're nice to people, they should be nice to you. And if even more so when you're in a work environment. My gosh, nothing worse than somebody's in a work environment and then they want to behave a certain type of way. So, yeah, random chit chat surrounding customer service. I hope I've covered it, because, you know, sometimes you have so much stuff in your head that you want to share and it might come across all jumbled up. Pardon, sometimes I do wonder. But yeah, I've had so many customer service jobs, so many life experience, so many, you know, I don't limit myself. So sometimes when people say, oh Rose, why do you want to move out to there? And I don't limit myself. My mother wasn't the type of person to limit herself or look and see colour or look and see a barrier. No. And I come with the same type of thing, and I try to teach my children and grow them in the same type of way, you know, to be open and not thinking, oh, that person can do this, I can't do it, da 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 da. I don't grow my kids like that, and I don't grow myself like that. Yeah, in the moment I will be upset and etc. And it's not like I'm not new to it, because, you know, when somebody see you, they can never see your story unless you share it. So very young age, you put into a situation where you either move forward or you stay stagnant, or you know, and you will still come across obstacle. You still come across somebody want to tell you what to do in those situations, even though sometimes you want to take advice. Wait, Papa, wait. You're gonna drink out some juice? Did your program finish?
No, it went off.
You went off? Alright, give me 2 seconds. Let me close out the video, please. Have some of your juice. Good boy. Yeah, so, how to deal with it. Thinking that you might not know and all of these things, or, you know, it depends on how people are giving you advice. Don't assume that a person don't know how to deal with their situation, or, keyword, don't assume. You can tell when things are coming in different ways, from a good place. That's another thing. Be kind to one another, especially in these times. What really got under my skin is like when somebody want to upset you just to hurt your feelings, because of how they feel. Even regardless of how I feel, I try not to push that on other people. That's one of my biggest pet peeves. Put it down, Papa. Right. And also in this time where you have to, it's a survival time. Yeah, be kind to one another, especially in this time. It's hard times, and we don't know how long we've got. Live your life the way you want to live. Be happy. Treat others how you want to be treated. Learn what you can learn. Improve where you can improve. Don't assume, you know, and just do the best you can. And know that, tell yourself every day, you got that button that you can imaginary reset button that you can try and improve yourself as time goes by. So all I can say, if you can't look after you, you can't look after anyone else, if I can get my word out. Yeah, like, comment, share and subscribe, guys. Comment down below, guys. Subscribe and hit that thumbs up button, and I'll see you guys in another video. Bye, guys. And you don't want to play either, don't you? Alright. So I'm green, you're blue, okay?